Here, and for this session we are reviewing a gold BAP. They've fallen a little bit. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. See what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. Is this a BAP we know and love, or just know, or maybe just tolerate? I don't know that we know this one. This might be a tolerate. Maybe we'll know them by the end of it. Weaving attempting here, sure. That shift is not amazing. Here you are. And like, oh yeah, let me shift because I'm gonna get a lot of people. Well, that's true. You did get multiple people. Did they need your shift though? Are they gonna use your shift? Are they going to take damage that this shift is gonna heal? Only 2 people are missing health, and one of them is the Reinhardt or the Reaper, who, let's be honest, is already fully gonna get healed, and the other is the Mercy, who again has herself regen and doesn't really need the healing even remotely. So let's look at this from the opponent's perspective. Are they going to do damage to you over the next couple seconds, to your team? No, that shift did nothing. That shift didn't do anything. And that's usually how it's going to be. A team shift is not the end of the world when you catch a lot of your teammates like you did with that one, but they have to either actually be missing health, or they have to have a very high likelihood of taking damage. Like they're pushing in, not they have high ground and cover against your opponents. I'd have liked to keep it going with the offense, but okay. Why are you healing this? Like, there's so much more interesting things going on over here. You can be healing your Reaper, hurting the Reinhardt. Like, this is so much more interesting than what's going on over here. Your Mercy has this under control. These guys are fine. Like, you can't, if you're aimed at these guys, you can't see your opponents. If you look at your Reaper, you can help your Reaper and hurt opponents. That's what we want to be doing as BAP. Like, it could be a bear shift or a bull shift. Stock terms for the shift. Okay. Okay. Gutsy Mercy play. You're gonna go cap the point, sure. Hey. So you could say the last shift was a total bull shift. Yeah. I hear ya. No. Mentos Frost asks, Temporal, is there a specific contenders team I should watch to possibly help me improve my understanding of the game? A specific contenders team? I think watching some of the better contenders teams could help with that if you're actively thinking about not just watching it as an enjoyment, but like pausing it, rewinding, going, wait, how did that team fight unfold? Wait, why did they win with this comp? What did they do differently? They're running the same comp. What was the difference maker here? You could do that and you'd get the most out of it, usually by watching the better teams, because they're going to be the most clean. Yeah, you could do that. You can just look up the ratings you can just look up the teams on Liquipedia and see, okay, who's done well recently, who did well in the last tournament. Yeah, there you go. Bushraptor says, hey, you reviewed my Mercy games a few weeks ago. Thanks for doing this. Yeah, I thought your name looked familiar. I don't usually do multiple freebies for someone, but we're really light on review posts right now, so be it. That's another way of saying you're welcome. Okay, so we're in full heal mode right now? That's purple. That's still purple.
Regen burst activated.
Okay. That's a lot of time of us not doing damage when we couldn't heal our team for most of it anyways. He's got cover. He's good.
Heroes never die.
Oof. Painful reload. We haven't done anything offense-wise.
ultimate's almost ready.
Wait, why is there no shot at Ryan?
Where does it
Your team is healthy. We see a Reinhardt. Let's shoot at the Reinhardt. Oh, there's a Rhine shield. Let's shoot at it. Your team is healthy.
My ultimate's almost ready.
Your team is fine. Why are we healing our team? No,
Application
no.
matrix ready. Prepare to fire.
Good, good.
No.
Sure, weave your heal.
Let me get you patched up.
Committal to strength, not weakness. Plot mercy. 728, 321. Okay. Good reaction with the lamp there. Less a fan of the window, but okay. Yeah. Like, the lamp was good, but the window always felt like, are you really still in this? Fine shift.
It's high tide.
En route. Yes. Understood.
Okay. Sure. You and Mercy got value, and you, of course, get big value out of that shift.
On my way.
Take a shot. Close the angle. Okay, if he's not going to pay attention to you, you can fight through it. I don't like this. You're just rotating across the open against a window? No, thank you. Let's keep to a place where we have a cover option. Like, if they're not shooting at us, sure, we'll shoot at them through the window. But let's not rotate across an opening where we have no cover options while they have a window up. We are not on Mercy. We cannot just go vroom right across. Like, our rotation is too slow. And we didn't really want to be on the point in the first place. Like, we want some negative space, some distance between us and the front line, because it actually makes it easier. It makes it so it's smaller adjustments between our crosshair to shoot at the enemy and to shoot at our friend for healing if we're further away. We like to be back here. We didn't really want to come here to the point. Do I think self-reviewing after each game is a good habit to get or more of a waste of time? It's definitely not a waste of time, but when you're maximizing efficiency, you're probably not going to self-review after every single game. You're going to go like, hey, play 2 or 3 games, self-review. Play a couple games, self-review. Play maybe 3 games, go, wait, just had a game that game was weird, or I don't think I played well in that game, let me go ahead and self-review. Like, no, you're not going to self-review after every game because you do need playtime. And your self-review after every, like, 3rd game isn't going to be a full review at the pace I'm going through here. It's going to be faster than this. Your reviews of this quality, like I'm doing here, are going to be much less frequent. I'm talking a faster, abbreviated review. You could even do a, wait, no, how did that offense round on first point specifically go? Or, wait, no, I want to go see this team fight type stuff. But you're not going hardcore reviews like this every 2nd or 3rd game. And I wouldn't review every game, like, ever.
Sit. We.
My ultimate is charged.
Yes.
That's what you have temporal for? Right. Right. For the $500 a month tier Patreon, he will review every game you play. Some people play too many games for that to be a good deal. Or for that to be a reasonable deal. Like, that could create time commitments that I can't possibly keep, because if I had, like, 3 people sign up for that tier, if I had 3 people sign up for that tier who each played 12 hours a day, I just can't. It becomes impossible type thing. Okay. But yes, I know you're joking.
We. Hello.
All right, cool. Yeah, just 2 times then back 5 to 10 seconds each elimination. That can work, yeah. doesn't mean it's a full review. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that could
We're
work.
fully here. No.
Огонь по готовности.
Regen burst.
There's your shift.
Ultimate is ready. Let them out. You or me?
Sure.
Yes.
You see Val signing up for that? I can see it, yeah.
No. Hey. Get in here. Regen up.
Okay. Don't go to point! What are you doing? Why do you think you can survive there? Like, that was a terrible place for you to be. I'm glad you won, but you just stay on your high ground back there and fall back and join the direction that your team is coming from. It's a weird approach, but it's way better than going to point. And you can pop down and pop back up as many times as you want, because you're BAP.
No.
Okay, we're gonna have to continue to watch your shift usage. You seem a little too willing to use it for your team. We're also going to watch your positioning, spacing, and we're also going to watch your weaving. You've had times where you get a little too heel heavy. You have times when you get too close to the fight. But let's see what we narrow in on here, what becomes the biggest issues, or if something new reveals itself as a bigger issue.
We.
Going through. We've got the Lucio, Hog, Hammond. Okay.
Regen burst activated.
Not an amazing shift.
Tirez pour guérir.
Like, here you are.
We. On my way. Regen burst activated.
You can somewhat reliably count on them to take damage here. I know you end up taking damage, but this is so-so as a shift.
Tirez pour guérir.
That's fine. No, 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 back. You did not want to walk into that. You can keep contributing from far away with your left and your right clicks, but you did not want to walk at that.
En route. On my way. Ooh, take the objective. I heard you.
Go with the team.
We.
Go the direction of the team. You do need to be contributing to this. Fine.
Group up with me. D'accord. Regen up. My ultimate is champion. Got so good at ultimates almost ready. Let them out. Get in here.
Live with the window. Okay. Reload is forced. You have this. You throw a heal shot. Cool. Is there a damage shot? No, there's another heal shot. Why? There's another heal shot. Okay. There's another heal shot. There's another heal shot. You realize that, like, you don't have to move your crosshair at all to hit this Reinhardt, and you actually aren't decreasing the healing you do if you mix in a single or even 2 damage shots, as long as it's not taking you time to re-aim to heal. And it can't take you time to re-aim to heal because you literally don't have to move your crosshair to hit this Reinhardt. So like we've spent 5 healing shots so far with no damage shots. And I get it, our Reinhardt was low for some of that, but zero crosshair movement would have been necessary to get damage shots off between most of those heal shots to still do some pressure onto the Rein. We wanted to do that. Okay. Okay, turn for the Pharah.
Take your medicine.
The Pharaoh's way higher priority. Why are you so slow on this? Okay, you threw a heal at him. He's got a full health shield, basically, that he can use to protect himself against the Zarya. Yeah, he's not going to be able to swing, but we hear that Pharah ult going off. We need to react to that. We can't lamp it, but we can take her down, and that's really important. That's a lot of attention and resource you spend in this direction after you know that Pharah ult is going off.
Take your medicine.
And the Pharah doesn't even get taken down during her ult. Oof, that's not good. He's not in the fight! Why are you lamping him? Reinhardt can take a little bit better care of himself than you seem to think. Like, yes, you want to heal him, and yes, he will use resources if you heal him to do more damage, and that's cool and all, but, like, there are things like your own life, like making sure you get weaves in, like shooting down an ulting Pharah, that are worth turning away from him during. He can use cover, he can put up his full health shield, he can back out of a fight like he just did. There's things he can do. Everyone's full health. Shoot at the Pharah. Shoot at the Pharah. Not going to heal your way out of this one. You can press shift if you want, but shoot at the Pharah. Shoot at the Pharah. No, the Pharah. Mentos Frost says seems to give up high ground easily, is baited to point easily, drops off far too often. Positioning. Positioning is what we're kind of closing in on there.
Immortality field down. Watch yourself. Yes.
Rains from above.
Okay, let's see if we can have a better third round.
On my way. Fala tu.
Oui.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Mercy on
En route. On my way.
Sure, we throw those out there. Pay attention to your Reinhardt's direction. That shift is not worth it. This is just getting you and potentially your Reinhardt, and it's iffy whether it's getting your Reinhardt. You have full health. You do not expect to take damage immediately. You don't need it to heal your Reinhardt. It heals your Reinhardt for 75 damage. A right-click heals him that you hit him with heals him for 70. Don't bother forcing this on cooldown to try to get a little extra healing on your Reinhardt. Just keep using right-clicks. Preferably mix in left-clicks too, but keep using right-clicks. It's not worth it to try to heal your Reinhardt 75 HP to put this cooldown, which protects you quite well, lets you stay in fights quite well. It's not worth putting that on cooldown.
Regen up.
like now it would be better to be able to pop your shift.
Step inside, be alive.
Why are you staying here though? Like, I don't even want to be on point like this. So it took 2 shifts to get you healed up, the tail end of the first one and the second one, because you used your shift early. Okay. Why are you here? Why are you at the front of the point? Okay. Use full health. Just do damage. Just do damage.
Hello. My ultimate is charging.
I heard you. Amplification matrix almost charged. My tactical rifle is charging. My ultimate is ready. Get in position. Let them out.
No, we found her that time. But you're on their side of the point. Oh, look, you didn't survive because you hung out too long on their side of the point. Bap doesn't actually like being close to these fights. Bap is pretty happy going, hey, I'm going to heal from here. Hey, I'm going to heal from elephant type thing. Hey, I'm going to heal from here while Reinhardt takes the fight here and doesn't let them in. He doesn't want to be over here. He doesn't want to be here when his Reinhardt is right here. Like, he wants his Reinhardt to take more space. He wants to rotate out here where he has space. He wants to rotate out here where he has space. He wants some distance between him and the fight. The further away you are on BAP, the smaller the adjustments. So, like, to put this in perspective, if you're here, it's like, oh, I have to turn here or here to shoot or do damage, to heal or do damage. I don't like that. If I'm over here, that's a very small crosshair adjustment to go from here to here. That's very easy and it costs you like no time. Being further away, a little bit further away, not so far away that it like takes forever for your right clicks to travel and it's hard to hit stuff and you have to deal with fall off, but a little bit further away goes a long way for you. Why can't Bap ride the elephant? There you go, Bap could ride the elephant. That would be fun. Set up over here, you know, you're going to have a little bit of a problem of, hey, they're going to slide you off, but could be fun, could be fun.
En route. Set up defenses on the objective. On my way. Yes.
Not to call out Temporal, I think he doesn't try as hard when he does free reviews. I want to see him doing educational L reviews, focusing on what we can learn from it rather than what the team did. Focusing on what we can learn from it rather than what the team did. I mean, what we can learn from it is going to vary so much by your current skill tier, by whether you play an organized play or not. I see a couple ways I could go with that. Interesting. Food for thought. Food for thought.
En route. No.
Yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to be in the middle of the fight. Yep, hopefully we're gonna fix that. Didn't need that shift. Okay. Now you do need a shift. You have... Yeah.
That could have gone better. Yes.
Okay, but that's fine. One more team fight and you guys are good.
Fully healed.
Almost ready.
I'm I'm sure if you did a word count, the free reviews are less words plus less detail. Probably a little, yeah. Sometimes I move through free reviews a little faster. Sometimes I move through paid reviews a little bit faster. Yeah.
Ich kümmere mich. My ultimate is ready. Heroes never die.
I think they're close to equal. The paid ones are a lot more personal, though. Yeah, that's fair.
Get in here.
I mean, for most of them, my average time, my average length of review is pretty similar between the paid and the freebies, if we're being honest. So it can't be that much significantly different. Like, yes, we do a little more chat time in some of the freebie ones, but then it determines what do we do at calling paid versus freebie. Like someone being in the Discord for a screen share with me, those are paid reviews, yes, but sometimes we do streams of paid reviews as well, and those tend to also be similar length to most of the freebies. Sometimes we go a little bit shorter, but sometimes we go a little bit shorter on each type. So. Which is fair, though. It was not a complaint. Okay. Sheldon Krieger for a $5 super chat says, I never even realized you were doing free reviews. I do some. Yeah, I do them as marketing, eventually, as a growth thing. I generally won't do a freebie review for the same person more than once. When I do them, it's just to let them know that I exist for a little bit of content, maybe to grab a post that has some traction in another place, like a Reddit, like a Twitter, like a Battle.net forums. Yeah. But it's just a sampler thing. Okay, so let me rewind just a little bit further here. But thank you for the $5 super chat, Sheldon. I do appreciate that. Okay, so you're here, you're shifting. Again, that shift is purely for your Reinhardt. Shouldn't happen. I'm not remotely convinced that you should be here. Fine as a shift.
Let them up.
Yeah, that's a little dicey. That window's too deep. I actually don't conceptually mind windowing. The fight is even enough, but your team doesn't feel like the fight is even enough. Your team feels like it's getting pushed back, feels like it's in trouble. So I'm going to have a little bit of a rough time justifying
Let them up.
investing serious ults in this. And if we ingest this window, if we spend this window, commit this window, we're going to use it closer to us, not something that the Zarya can and does step through immediately. Like, there's no reason for this to not just be closer to us where we can do more with it. You're welcome. All the review vids are great. Thank you, Sheldon. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Your team felt like they were losing that fight too much to window, even though technically it was more even.
Valkyrie's charging.
D'accord. How about a little extra?
Again, that shift. You're in here, you're at 7 and 39, you go for a heal over there, you go for a heal here, you go for an offensive shot, then heal, another heal for some reason, a shift heal, into another heal. Where are offensive shots?
Get in here.
Into a lamp. Heal, offense, another heal, another heal, another heal, another heal. Offense, shoot the soldier? No. Shift is forced.
Heroes never die.
right idea. Unfortunately, you missed your frisbee there. But the idea was correct. You don't need to be in front. You do not need to be anchoring point. You do not need to be anchoring point. The opponents are over here. If the opponents are primarily grouped over here, let's get our way over here. Not anchoring point, not anchoring point here. Let's get our way over here. We can heal people on the point and keep the match going for longer and keep our team in it better from off the point than we can from on the point. Like, they will take longer to clear you and your team and wipe you guys and get you off the point and, you know, win the match if you act off the point than if you act on the point. If you act on the point, they can both put pressure on you, which is something they need to do to win, and be standing on the point. If they have to come off the point to put pressure on you, they now have to pick between their two win conditions. Like, they need to accomplish both of those things to win. They need to be on the point, and they need to remove you. By being together in the same place, you're giving them the option to do both at once, and that just makes me sad.
Move to the beat. See me through.
Okay. So,
Victory.
BAP review, couple things that we want to get into here. What we're going to talk about, the first thing is your distance. You need what we refer to as negative space. Not my favorite word, but other coaches use it. I can use it. That's fine. It's negative space, and the concept of negative space is you want there to be distance between you and the opponents. We want that. We want distance. And in order to have distance between you and the opponents, you probably have to have distance between you and, say, your Reinhardt, you and your front line. So we want to have some distance. We don't want to be where the fight is happening, where it can be on top of us. We want to have a sight line of the fight. We want to be able to see the fight. That's good. But we want to have some distance between us and the opponents, and we want to more consistently have that. You need to spend more of your attention on your positioning. It needs to be like, hey, I can do this just fine from here. I can hit everything I need to. Maybe I want to hop up here? Sure, hop up here. I don't care. But we're going to do that. We're not going to be here. We're not going to be here. We're not going to be right on Reinhardt's tailbone unless we know Reinhardt is going to hard round a corner and we wouldn't be able to support it unless we're right on his tailbone. Like, that's the only time that happens. Most of the time, we're looking to go, hey, we've got some distance. This is happy with us. We want to think of our team's positioning sort of like a crossbow. Sort of like a crossbow like this, and we're over where the trigger is. We're over where the trigger is, or we're over where the, feather of the arrow is, whatever. It's a crossbow, so it wouldn't have a feather. It would be a bolt. Well, still could. That's fine. We want to be back here while our Reinhardt is up here, and maybe our Zarya's over here, and maybe our McCree's over here type thing. Like, that's how we're thinking of this. We're this piece. We're this piece of it as BAP. And if we go over here, that's fine. If we go over here, that's fine. If we go up over here, that can potentially make sense, like with a window. But this is sort of what we want to think about. This is sort of the image that we want to have in our mind. And if our team goes, no, we've only got left control, sure, I don't care. So be it. As long as there aren't opponents then over here, not a problem. So we want to sort of be playing behind our front line and more behind your front line than you are. The further away you are, the safer you are, the less likely your shift is to get forced, the less tempted you are to use your shift improperly to try to heal your team, the easier it is to weave between these two types of shots. So we're going to play back. The second thing I'm going to get into, and hopefully you won't have to spend any effort working on this because as you adjust your positioning, you just won't even be tempted, is your shift usage. Your shift is primarily for you as BAP. It heals you 150 HP, it heals other people 75 HP. Healing you 150 HP is a big deal. It's why BAP can get away with so much in terms of, hey, Flanker has to deal with his shift. Maybe a flanker has to deal with his lamp. Flanker has to deal with him doing a lot of damage. BAP is a pain to take down, and a big reason for that is his shift does a lot of healing. You basically have to take him down twice just to deal with his shift, which overall isn't like an amazing cooldown, but for him is pretty darn good. We don't like that. It heals him more than Nana's nade heals her. Like, we don't like that. So shift is a problem. If you use it to try to heal other people when you don't also need the healing, you don't have it, and then Tracers magically show up and take you down. Doomfists show up. Reapers show up. They magically take you down. We don't like that. Or even if they don't take you down, you're now playing at 100 HP instead of full HP, and now you're playing more passive. You're not peeking as much. You're therefore not getting as much pressure on the opponent team with your left click. We don't like that. So we're not looking to use our shift to heal our team. The times that we use our shift to heal our team is when there are multiple teammates. Like we're going to get a lot of teammates with our shift. We're going to get 3, 4, 5 teammates with our shift, and multiple of them are missing HP. Like, I'm serious. It's not like, oh, I'm getting one person with the shift, I'm getting 2 people with the shift. It's no, I'm getting like 3 or 4 people with this shift, and even if I'm not missing HP, the rest of them are, or it is very, very likely that in the next second or two, they're going to take damage because the opposing team is shooting at us. We are rotating through a dangerous rotation, something like that. That's the other time that you can justify getting away with a shift. But we're not using our shift to heal one person that isn't us. It's just not happening. You could maybe make an exception for like you're stuck reloading and the Zen that you're partnered with is getting shot at by a trace or something like that, but it's probably not going to be enough. You're probably going to have to lamp instead. So yeah, that's the second thing. Hopefully it won't be an issue because you'll generally be playing further away from your team and you won't let yourself get dragged in to go shift. Don't get dragged in to go shift. If that's what's going on, if you're playing so close because you want to shift people, you're like, oh, let me get them to a little extra healing. That's wrong, and we're eliminating this. And then the third thing that we're going to get to is you do need to upgrade your weaving. Again, positioning back like this should help with that. It should be easier to see, oh, I can go back and forth. But you have too many situations where your Reinhardt is perfectly healthy, perfectly fine. He might be at 30% HP, but he's got a healthy shield and he's put it up. And you're just like, oh no, I can't afford any offensive shots. I have to keep pumping right clicks into him. He's fine, buddy. He's totally fine. Send that left click between your right clicks. Send 2 left clicks between your right clicks. It's not going to show you down. If you do 3, 4, that's going to slow down your right clicks and he's potentially receiving less healing. But if you go, I'm going to use 1 or 2 left clicks, as long as you're not taking time to have to re-aim back for your right click like that, 2 left clicks does not increase your delay time between right clicks. Keep that in mind and get better about it. It's not like your weaving is terrible or anything, but there's meaningful room to do better here, especially when it comes to your Reinhardt, who you're perhaps a little overly attached to. I'm not saying you shouldn't pay a lot of attention to your Reinhardt. You do pay a lot of attention to your Reinhardt, but don't do it to the point of like, oh, you're not getting any good weaves in or you're not getting many good weaves in, because that damage pressure, even if it's not always an elimination, it's converting into eliminations on your team. It really does add up. It really does help. So work through these 3 things, work through them one at a time. Please start with this keeping more distance between you and the front line thing, as the other things will be much easier once you get that through your head, once you really get that into your playstyle. Use like 5 to 15% of your brain power to play the game in this way, working on this negative space thing, this distance thing, however you want to think about it. And then once you're doing that on habit, once you're consistently staying far away, once you're not just rotating through the open and getting shot at, once you're doing that, playing with some distance between you and the front line, playing with cover, maybe even playing with some height between you and the front line, once you're doing that, and that's kind of stuck itself in your gameplay, that's become a habit, move on to your next thing, which is going to be working on, hey, this shift stuff. And then once that's in there, move on to the next thing, which is going to be this weaving. So work through these things one at a time, 5 to 15% of your brain power, get it worked into your autopilot, make it a habit. That's what we're looking to do. If you or anyone else has questions, go ahead and throw them into chat now. If you're enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Okay. Raptor says, that's good info. The shift may be the reason I subconsciously thought I needed to be in the middle of the fight. It might be. I've certainly seen it be the case for BAPS before. So I'm hoping that fixing that will help keep you further away, or keeping you further away will help fix the shifting thing. If you can get the distance fixed, these may be able to combine into lesser points. But if you work on the first point, the second and third will be easier. Shift AO on teammates is weak now, I think. Yeah, Shift AoE on teammates is pretty weak. At Temporal as BAP, is it bad to 2 left click weaves for no reason as a habit, even if you're wasting left clicks? If it's actually slowing down your right click because you're aiming at something wrong, yes. Technically, it would be wrong because you could be stuck in a left click sort of when you want to be shooting at a tracer that shows up type thing. I mean, that's a pretty niche situation, but it could happen. Technically, it becomes yes, technically it's bad because again, there's going to be situations where you can run BAP out of left clicks before right clicks. That's absolutely a thing that can happen. If no one needs healing, you can shoot 5, 6, 7 left clicks in a row, and you could then end up in a situation where you're forcing extra you're forcing extra reloads later because you were just shooting at nothing. I don't mind shooting somewhat low probability. I don't mind shooting through your Reinhardt when you think there's red on the other side of your Reinhardt, but you don't know what you're shooting at. You don't know that. Like, I don't mind that, but I wouldn't just be like, well, I'm just shooting type thing. It's also going to make you focus a little less on the shots, and you do, as you play BAP, want to work up your left click accuracy. It's okay to shoot through your Reinhardt, shoot through your Winston, and just trust that there's something there that they're fighting and be like, yep, hey, I'm contributing. It's okay to just shoot at a giant shield because it's what's there. Or, you're shooting at a giant shield, even though if you did a big flick left, you could hit a real target. The reason you're shooting at the shield is because you want to stay close to your Reinhardt with your crosshair to heal him. That's fine with me too. But long term, you do want to build accuracy because having really good accuracy on BAP is really, really powerful. So I wouldn't build a habit between the potential extra reloads, the potential sort of lockout that you could run into if someone showed up on you, and the fact that you do want to be working on your aim slowly, but somewhat consciously. I wouldn't recommend just double left clicking for no reason when there's absolutely nothing there. Thanks for the review again. All great stuff. No problem, Bushraptor. Temporal, would you review a DPS BAP that only heals through shift? I mean, I reviewed a pistol-only Mercy. They used their staff a tiny bit, but they were really clearly a pistol-only Mercy, so probably. I don't know if I'd do it intentionally, but you could sneak it in here, and I would probably continue the review. With Bat, Bastion, Torb, and Sigma all having pirate skins now, we are well on the way to actual full pirate cosplay ship team that is actually a good comp. Yeah, someone posted the meme about that with a missing puzzle piece as the Orisa there in the memes channel in the Discord. Our Discord has memes, guys. There's a reason to join right there. Val says, at Temporal, what's worse? An unskilled BAP habit, not weaving, or ineffective left clicks? What's worse? An unskilled BAP habit, not weaving. What's worse as an unskilled BAP habit? Not weaving or ineffective left clicks? Not weaving is worse, but that doesn't mean you want to build yourself a habit that you're going to have to undo later to do it. But yes, not weaving is the worst habit. Or weaving from an unsafe position. Well, weaving from an unsafe position is you don't want to be in an unsafe position. Like, most things of BAP are downstream of position correctly. The weaving is easier, the shift usage can get better, the windows are going to be better frequently. Yeah. Your awareness of the fight is going to be better. It's all good. Playback. Okay, you guys were having a discussion. No. If you voice call him, he would go less harsh on you, and you would learn less. I don't think that's true. Yeah, it's really not. Like, they're a little different, but you're not going to learn significantly. You're not going to learn less by being on a voice call with me, unless you're like super anxious on the voice call and like ooh. And if that's the case, well, it's still going to be uploaded, and you're still going to be able to see it, and you can learn from it, very similar to how you'd learn from a stream review, unless you're constantly like judging yourself on the call or something like that. But in the vast majority of people, vast majority of situations, it's not it's not less effective to do a Discord screen share. That's fine. Said, I'm fine with either. I do paid reviews for Discord screen share type stuff where we're on a call together going over it, and I also do paid reviews for, hey, I stream it, very similar to what you saw here. If you're a BAP and Ryan can shatter you, you're in the wrong place. Usually. Val says voice call equals make excuses for mistakes and get away with it 1 time out of 10, so 10% less learning. Excuse me? I deconstruct people's excuses pretty darn thoroughly on voice calls as well. Sometimes I'll move on. But I don't really let people let stuff fly. Temporal does not take excuses. Yeah. Have you not seen Have you not been on a Jumbo review with Temporal? Yep. Jumbo got away with a lot of stuff. No, he didn't. Just because I move on does not mean Jumbo got away with it. And Jumbo knows he didn't get away with it. And Jumbo does go fix things even when he pretends that, like, no, that was correct, that was right, etc. I call out when Jumbo does things wrong, and even when Jumbo defends it, I give the most unenthusiastic type thing. And at that point, he knows he was wrong. It's fine. What did he get away with? Temporal called him out, and he made up excuses, and Temporal still called him out. Right. He was less harsh doing it. Coach being harsh equals communicate the importance of the action plus coach's disappointment. It's going to depend on the person. Different people need less amount of harshness, more or less amounts of harshness. I'm not worried about Jumbo. Jumbo is getting value out of his coaching. So you're saying you need Temporal to yell at you more. Kung Fu coach, sports coach, Olympics coach, they all yell at the players. I mean, some of them make a show out of yelling at the players, but no, not every good coach yells at the players all the time. In fact, in Owl, yelling isn't super common, and Contenders yelling isn't super common. It's part of your recipe. You can use sort of a disappointment or a negative reinforcement type thing as part of your coaching recipe, but it's not your entire coaching recipe. It's not all yelling all the time or all disappointment all the time by any means. Val says you need her to yell at her more. Please remember that for her next VOD. Got it, blah. Imagine if someone got the full Chef Ramsay. It's mostly an act to get rating. Those shows are so big. Right. Like, that's, yes, correct. I never liked the roast style YouTuber reviews. They only did it for more entertainment to hide their lack of coach skills. I mean, it's not always to hide the lack of coach skills. Like, if I went full boring mode on you guys, I would get less viewers. I'm harsh on people. I'm I'm pointed. I'm on the things that they need to work on, but I'm a little harsher on people than I perhaps need to be in some situations. In some ways, because higher level players really do like it when you're harsh on them, but in some ways it's, hey, this makes it more entertaining, or when I show my pain at, like, oof, this is painful, seeing these reloads, etc., that's making it more entertaining to you guys. Like, that's not strictly necessary as a reinforcement tool for training the player that I'm working with. I do it because there's multiple things going on here in some way. I also do it because, it does hurt to see some of these Zarya reloads, for example, or the Ananades that are just, flung out there for self heals when the Mercy's already healing you. But hey, I'll deal. Yeah, no, there's some of that. Now, I don't go to the level that Ramsey does, for example, but there is some of that, yes. Ramsey only does it for TV. He isn't like that normally. You're reading that Val wants to be Ramseyed, like the TV Ramsey. Okay. Get yelled at by Ramsey for 1 year and you will improve. Doesn't mean it's the most efficient way to do it, though. When Ramsey does not yell at you, he is allowing you to fail. BAP shift only heals allies for 75 now, so it's pretty weak, I guess. Correct. Shift is a nice AoE hot since it stacks with its normal heals. There's some truth to that. But it's generally not worth pulling yourself out of position for. At Temporal, is it okay to fire BAP left clicks to act as suppressive fire, even if you know the chance to hit is low or small damage? That's okay if it's intentional, yeah. Maybe Temporal can spectate the player and shock them when they do something wrong. I think we don't allow those sorts of experiments anymore, guys. I can't find the human review board that'll sign off on it. Hey, Temporal, do you plan on making any guides? Yeah, I'll make more guides. Not this week, but I'll make more guides. James says, what hero are you interested in, or what are you interested in? Are you interested in a composition guide? Are you interested in a hero guide? What are you looking for, Dabsy? James Dowley says, perhaps coaches could try using mild electric shock when students make a mistake, like those colors for dogs that got banned. Did those get banned? Did electric colors for dogs? Because like invisible fences, using electric fences for dogs, did those really get banned? Those were useful in that they let people, you know, have dogs that could run out in open space on their property without having to put fences up that either, obstructed other people's views or weren't so, good for the landscape, or they would have had to be higher so that the dog couldn't jump over them, but they couldn't go that high because of building regulations and such. That would be interesting. Interesting. You mean that doesn't really hurt to watch? Yes, it hurts to watch. It does. It does. Maybe a Pharah mini guide makes sense in this meta. Could be. Okay. Pro tip: if there's someone you don't like at work, say nothing when they make mistakes. Allow them to self-destruct. Sometimes that'll work. Sometimes it won't. It depends on their level of commitment. Are they trying to skate by, etc. type thing. I watched a program about badly behaved dogs, and this dog pulled his owner into an electric fence. He fell. Oh, ouch. Ouch. Yeah, they'll end up promoted. It's quite possible. You have to remember that in the professional work world, the unfortunate reality is a lot of managers and a lot of businesses don't actually have good metrics for measuring people's performance, so it's just sort of by think and feel. And if they're never hearing anything critical, or hearing, oh, so and so made a mistake, they're going to think that they're doing great and they might get promoted. We don't use metrics very well to measure whether people are performing well at their job. Part of the reason for that is because most people's jobs these days are pretty squishy. Most people's jobs descriptions include lines such as, and anything else we might come up with that you might need to do. And because people's jobs are squishy, and because people's jobs change over time pretty quickly, you end up in situations where it's not just, okay, well, you used to make 4 boxes per hour and now you make 5 boxes per hour. This was easy to measure. Now people's jobs are different, or it's, maybe you used to set up, and it might be something like, oh, well, how many databases did you set up in a more modern job in, per day? Well, that works, except that then your boss starts giving you the more complicated databases, and he knows he's giving you the more complicated databases to set up, and they're in a position of, okay, well, that doesn't make sense because you're having to set this up and it's harder than the ones that the coworkers are being given. So again, but you don't really, as the boss, potentially know how much harder it is versus the ones that you gave to the other people. I'm just giving examples, and I'm trying to give, examples that most people could do type things, or at least understand. So yeah, and that's why networking, sucking up to the boss, not quietly, but subtly bragging about how much work you're getting done, subtly casting shade on other people in a business environment, politics basically. That's why business politics works. We don't necessarily like that it works, but it does, as long as you're not too overt and heavy-handed about it. Or by doing well at the metrics, that is your argument made for not promoting you. Oh yeah, they can't promote you because they can't possibly do without you type thing. You can beat that, but you have to beat that by being ready to quit. And if you're ready to quit, you should just quit. Because if you're ready to quit, it means you have another job lined up. And if you have another job lined up, you should just take the other job instead of using it as leverage. You don't accept the counteroffer, because they will realize that they're in trouble. They'll take you, they'll pay you more, but then you will find yourself in problem land too often 6 months later, 3 months later, 9 months later. It's more important to laugh at the boss's jokes and nod your head when he is giving a self-indulgent or irrelevant speech. Basically. Which, you know, that's just how the world works. Like, that is something where you have to understand if you're in something that doesn't have super strong metrics measuring the output and you're working corporate, you're not working for yourself, that's the game that you have to play and it matters. Question, has Temporal ever lied to trick low SR players to play more correctly? Have I ever lied to trick low SR players to play more correctly? Probably not. I will sometimes call out that, like, when advice is different for higher SRs and low SRs, because there are a few things that I do that on. And I suppose you could say, like, hey, you didn't call out that you'd give this advice different in Masters than you would in Silver. But, like, I don't think I don't consider that lying to be like, this is what you need to do. This is how you win it at this SR. I don't really consider that lying. So, yeah, no. Nordstrom says, I've been lucky enough to land on a reel where everyone's really genuine. Land on a team at your job. Right, but things change. Like, that can be cool and that can be awesome, but things change. Your company gets acquired, your division gets shuffled around, they move you to go join with another thing, another company gets acquired, some of their people get thrown onto your team, people get promoted out of your team. Nothing's permanent, and that's, you know, that's life. What's the main situation that is different at low SR? I think stuff like damage boost still works fine in low SR. The biggest difference? Ooh, that's tough. So you do get into stuff. One thing that comes to mind is at high SRs versus low SRs. A good example of this would be Volskaya Industries, but we could just talk 2CP in general, where you'll recognize that if you watch top 500 games, high GM games, you're going to notice that when the attacking team, if they had to do a long rotation to get somewhere, they're not necessarily going to wait if they lost someone for that sixth person to come back. They're not necessarily going to try to hold, which you would consider. So let's look at the Volskaya choke, for example. The Volskaya second choke, let me do this from this perspective, where it's like, here's the main choke for Volskaya. You've got an elevator here, you've got this thing here, whatever. And the defending team, let's say the attacking team has rotated and gotten themselves all the way to here. But they lost someone on the way. And the defending team has properly been pushed back, and like now they're set up around the point because the point is back here. I'll draw the point here. The point is back here, and there's more structures that I'm not going to draw, and my scale isn't perfect here. And the defending point is set up back here, and they are ready to go whatever, but they have all 6 players. There's a pretty reasonable chance that in GM, in top 500, and whatever, yellow team here is going to continue the push even though they lost someone on their way. There's a pretty real chance that that's going to happen, and it's not wrong. In a gold game, it would be wrong for a yellow team to push when they just got here, they went down to 5 people. That would not be a wise move. They would be better off even dropping back and waiting for their 6th person to rejoin them before they retake this and then push in from here. But in a higher level game, what you're going to find is that red team here is doing a better job of punishing this rotation. And red team is also going to come in and push these guys out. These guys don't want to give up this space. They could give up this space, but then they're going to have a tougher time getting back this space against red team. The poke, the punish is so much better. Rotations through empty space, rotations through neutral space are so much harder in GM. You're so much more likely to potentially get punished that paying someone's life for the rotation to actually get in is kind of like, yeah, okay, fine, we're going to do it anyway type thing. It's not perfect. It's not. But in lower level games, you are going to go, no, you can remake this rotation more easily than you can try to win a 5v6. That's kind of how that works. That would be an example. Lol, ask Val about that one. The Mercy one? Yeah. You can get away with greed in low SR. That's true too. I think low heal comps are bad in low SR, but that's the whole team's responsibility. There's some truth to that one as well. I came up with a bit more complex one, but that's true. Like, I wouldn't recommend low SR teams generally run Zen Brig, because if they're not a 6-stack, their team is not going to be happy about it. But in GM, no problem. James Daly, sometimes you would top up a DPS player in low SR faster than you would, give them a confidence boost. Yeah, I don't love it, but yeah. And Anna likes to nade self faster in low SR, even with Mercy Beam on them, but that doesn't make that right. Also in low SR, you can damage boost someone to make them catch up on ult charge to encourage combos more rather than waste ult. I don't know that that's a low SR exclusive. Okay. So yeah, there's an example there. If you guys have any more questions, comments, you can throw them up in chat now. If you're enjoying the content, once again, please do like and subscribe. I really do appreciate that quite a bit. Thank you once again, Sheldon, for the $5 super chat, saying I didn't even realize you were doing free reviews. We do some free reviews as a marketing thing, yes, but they're definitely lower priority. We do less and less of them. And again, if you guys want to see these live so that you can ask questions, so that you can pick a former top contenders coach brain, so that you can see when we're covering topics like is it a hero and a rank that's of interest to you, or are we reviewing a guide that you care about, or are we covering a bit of the news and you want to be here to talk about it as we talk about, maybe the markets, maybe energy in terms of like renewables or fossil fuel type stuff, when we talk about, hey, new Pokemon game coming out, when we talk about any of that sort of stuff, you could see that by becoming a watcher in the Discord if you'd like, and then you get pings and you could see what we're covering, be here for the discussion if you like. Okay, I'm okay with Zen Brig. It's far better than Lucio Mercy or really Lucio anything. Lucio Bap is fine. Lucio Moira is fine too, with the right comp. Can low-rank 6-stack teams get away with running Zen Brig, or would you still not recommend it? Sure, you can train a gold team to run Zen Brig, absolutely. You can just get away with stupid flanks in low SR. You can get away with stupid flanks at high SR too. My gold team has run Mercy Zen and Mercy Brig with stuff like Ball Sigma, and it worked fine. Mercy Zen is fine. Mercy Zen is better than Zen Brig. I know parts of the ladder still don't love Mercy Zen, but even Reinhardt shouldn't be complaining about Mercy Zen. They're not going to get as much support, but their team is going to be just fine. And you can help remind Patreon, Temporal to get Patreon? You can. Organized play can use higher rank strats. That's true. Makes sense to get a Patreon now before the rush of new accounts from the other platform that is in the news today? Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. I second Lucio. Anything is good. Lucio's fine, guys. I don't know, like, Blah's allowed to have his hate for Lucio because that's his thing, but, like, we were doing the roles thing yesterday, and it was like, and Lucio can't peel, and it's like, Lucio's peel is amazing. Lucio has no range contribution, and it's like, Lucio's range contribution is like, yes, he has his poke, and he gets his team closer to the team that his team wants to fight because he doesn't like them having range better. Or like, he has 4-second boop, he has his speed to get to people, he has speed to continue to rotate. Like, part of Lucio's peel is the other team won't catch him because he can keep marching his Ana or Zen away from the other team's Reaper, the other team's Mei, the other team's Reinhardt, things like that. Like, that's part of his peel, and you can't discount that. Anyway, it's Lucio Tinted. Lucio is not a bad hero, guys. He's not. Blah's allowed to hate him, but I don't know about everyone bandwagoning on this. Cries and Mercy Lucio. Yeah, Mercy Lucio is awful. There's, again, you're exploiting a very specific strategy of no one's diveable if you're running Mercy Lucio, running an avoided comp effectively. Lucio Moira for Rush is still fine. Yep. Hey, I supported Lucio then. You did. You had good arguments there, Blah. Or Lucio, Bap, Lucio, Anna, and Rush. You're being objective about your Lucio hate, at least. Lucio was the peel for Anna before Brig. Yep. Especially with Pharmacy. I know what he can do. It's just that they don't do it on ladder, so you hate Lucius. Sure, sure. In Mercy Lucio, the Lucio should always switch. Okay. Lucio is a great hero. Everyone is just tired of bad Lucios on ladder. They watch you die, then beat and spam. Need healing while you're... Yeah, yeah. Right. Mercy Lucio punishes dive and punishes lack of coordination. Yeah, basically. Okay, that's going to do it. I'm probably not going to hop immediately into another review after this unless I see something interesting. I'll probably look for something different, interesting, that isn't just another review to do next, but I may take a break before then. It'll depend what I see, etc. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. As a reminder, I will be out of town for this weekend. I should get something up Friday afternoon. I should be back to streaming by then, or get something up at least. But I will be out of town this weekend, so there will not be any streams on Saturday or Sunday there. I'll miss you guys. Okay. Because the most hated support on ladder? Not really, not anymore. BAP is climbing. And there's a certain hate group for Lucio over in this community, it seems. Okay, that's going to do it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.